everyone, Jennifer here. Today I'm going to be making this wreath, and it's made with faux flowers and foliage. It's really easy to do and a relaxing Christmas craft. So let's get started. You will need a wreath base, and I'm using a grapevine wreath here. I have faux flowers, faux berries, and foliage with pine cones on it. Wire cutter scissors, and these are crucial when you're cutting faux flowers. Floral wire, a hot glue gun, and a beautiful ribbon. So we're going to start off by staging where we would like to place everything, and this is a good idea because you can create a pattern right now and not set everything in stone, but just sort of figure out what you want to do. So my plan here is to do one pine cone foliage, one red poinsettia, one regular green foliage, some berries, and this beautiful white magnolia, and then repeat that pattern. I plan to use 3 of each flower because things look good in odd numbers. So I'm going to start off by just putting the first piece of foliage on the wreath, and I'm going to take this floral wire and just wrap it tightly around. This will secure it to the wreath, and once you wrap it around, you can just twist it to keep it in place, or you can wrap it through the vines in the wreath itself. Conversely, you could also use a hot glue gun to keep these things in place, but I find that the wire works better for this type of wreath. Now sometimes if you have a poinsettia like this one and it has a short stem, you can just stick that into the wreath itself and you don't need to use the wire. And I'm just going to continue this with the pattern that I've come up with. Now another reason why I like to use the wire is that next year, for example, I might fashion a different wreath. So I might take everything off and just use the same wreath base and mix up the flowers a little bit. So if you like to reuse things like I do, then you could do that as well. Or if you're just sure that this is going to be an amazing wreath, you could use the hot glue gun and everything will just stick to it beautifully. Okay, so now I'm adding my berries, and it's just a good idea when we staged it to just see what's going to look visually appealing here. And the berries just add a different interest. There's the pine cones and then the flowers, and this is just going to be a really elegant wreath. So I'm going slow right now so you can see what I'm doing, and then once I complete the pattern, I'm going to speed it up. But this entire wreath took me about 25 minutes to do, so it doesn't take that long of a time to complete. Okay, now finally, the white magnolia flower is going to go in. So I place that in, and my pattern is complete for one cycle. And I really like the way it looks, so I'm going to continue. And here we go. Okay, so I held it up and I realized that some of the flowers seemed a bit smushed together toward the end, so I took them out and I replaced them. And that is the finished product, and I really love how it looks. I'm so happy with it. So I'm just going to keep the flowers like this. At this point, you can hot glue gun anything that you would like to stick in place, if there is anything. And now we're going to use the ribbon. So what I'm going to do here is the ribbon will have dual purposes. It will be decorative, and it will also be the thing that hangs the wreath on the door. Now you could use a metal wreath hanger if you like, but I really love using ribbon. And if you have leftover ribbon from last year or from any presents, it's also a great idea to reuse it that way as well. So I'm just going to wrap it around where the top of my wreath is going to be, and I'm going to create a large bow. You're going to do this right about where you think you're going to need to hang it, and you could measure it against your door to be sure. So basically I'm going to make a knot, double knot into the fabric. And then you could just do a nice pretty bow. Now some people are really skilled at doing bows. I am not really one of them. So I can do a very basic bow, and that's good enough for me. I think it looks nice. But if you want to do a fancy bow and get the hot glue gun out and do you know, many different ripples, then that would look beautiful as well. And this is it. It's hanging on our front door. This is the final wreath, and I love this wreath. I think it's very elegant, and it was so easy and fun to make as well. Thank you for joining me today on the Daily Connoisseur. Merry Christmas!